What's up? What's going on? What is good, everybody? This is the November 14th, 2021 episode of the Boxing Source Radio Show. You are now listening to James Bell, the leader of the Boxing Source, and you can follow us on social media. We're available on Facebook. You can follow the page there. You can follow us on Instagram. Also, we have Twitter at Boxing Source 2. Just look us up. And we also do have the YouTube channel where you could get various insights on topics within the sport of boxing, plus interviews, as we do have currently up from a couple of days ago an interview with the president of Salida Promotions, Dimitri Salida, as he talks about the new multi-fight seven-figure deal that Clarissa Shields has with Boxer and Sky Sports. So if you do go on the YouTube channel, you'll be able to check out that entire interview. But here in this particular podcast, we're going to be talking about the action that happened yesterday, particularly at the Footprint Center. We're going to be going on there. Plus, we do have also, what happened with Jaime Munguia against Gabe Rosado. We will be talking about that as well. And then we will have a little bit of a preview of the upcoming big fight that's coming up on Saturday at Mandalay Bay in Las Vegas for the WBO Welterweight Championship, Terrence Crawford versus Sean Porter. And we're definitely going to try to go in depth about that particular bout. But we wanted to get into what happened yesterday. First, over at the Footprint Center in Phoenix with that main event, as you had David Benavidez going up against Kyron Davis. David Benavidez was entering that bout with a record of 24 wins and no losses, while Kyron Davis entered this bout with a record of 16 wins, 2 losses, and 1 draw. We had the bout. It was originally supposed to be David Benavidez there going up against Jose Uzcategui in a super middleweight eliminator bout. But, of course, you had Jose Uzcategui that did test positive for an illegal substance. So we, had Kyron Davis coming there as a replacement opponent. Kyron Davis did have a couple of fights earlier this year, the most notable fight being there up against Anthony the Dog Durrell, where he scored a draw in that particular fight. And y'all seen Anthony Durrell in the previous week score a victory in the undercard of Canelo Plant, where he scored a emphatic knockout victory in that particular bout. But going back to here with Kyron Davis, he entered this particular bout pretty much on like 10 days notice. They had this particular bout at the contracted weight with the weight limit of 169 pounds, since it was not deemed as a title eliminator. So with David Benavidez coming into the weigh-in at 169 pounds, yes, he did, quote unquote, make weight. Okay. So that had been cleared up before this particular fight, that David Benavidez could enter that weigh-in and be at 169 pounds for this particular bout against Kyron Davis. Kyron Davis came in there at 167 3/4 pounds. And yes, we do know that he had campaigned in the middleweight division for some time before moving up to that super middleweight division, where he did face Anthony Durrell earlier this year. He also had another bout that was a couple of months ago before entering this bout against David Benavidez. He did, have a little bit of a training session over in Colorado, training with the WBO welterweight champion Terrence Crawford before this particular bout. And David Benavidez had a few sparring sessions himself with a fighter that we'll be talking about later on in this show. But going into this particular bout, we're trying to see here what was going to happen with David Benavidez having his bout against a replacement opponent again with Kyron Davis. And, Kyron Davis, of course, was game in his bout against Anthony Durrell, and he was definitely game here against David Benavidez. And Benavidez, was able to, get off his offense after, a couple of rounds there, but you also had Kyron Davis that was there, standing in and trying to get his, particular offense off as well. So, you did have yourself a pretty exciting bout for as long as it lasted. Yeah, you did have Kyron Davis get hit with some good shots by David Benavidez, but he was able to answer himself, with Benavidez throwing a lot of right hooks. Did come in with a few good 3 or 4 punch combinations with Kyron Davis on the ropes, but Kyron Davis, he was pretty much answering every time that Benavidez was getting off his Benavidez's offense there. So you did end up in a good action bout there. It was just that with Benavidez pretty much unloading more of his offense there, throwing the uppercuts that did get through the guard of Kyron Davis that started to hurt him a little bit there in the 5th and 6th rounds. And, you started to see the tide turn more towards David Benavidez. While he didn't score knockdowns in those particular rounds, you could see that he was really hurting Kyron Davis there, before you got to the 7th round that was coming up in, when Kyron Davis got to his corner in between those rounds, you could see that his trainer there, Stephen Bradman Edwards, was saying, hey, I need something out of you. I need something out of you or I'm going to stop the fight. And you had times when the referee was coming in there in between those rounds. Wes Melton was coming in between those rounds, checking on Kyron Davis, seeing if he was okay. He said he was okay. And he was taking those shots. He was talking trash to David Benavidez. He was throwing punches himself. And it was just, kind of like, it wasn't like he had something that really seriously hurt David Benavidez, but he was showing that he was game up until that point in the 7th round where you just seen David Benavidez just be relentless in his offense and then just come forward and catch Kyron Davis with some big punches, which, forced Davis's trainer, Stephen Edwards, to throw in the towel. And you kind of seen that with the effort that Kyron Davis had, that, once he saw that the fight was stopped, he just, let out a, big, sigh there of disappointment. And, David Benavidez was there pretty much right at his face, but he, gave him a little hug there after the fight was stopped. But you seen there that David Benavidez was just too much for Kyron Davis. And you had, Benavidez score his 22nd stoppage victory there. So he is now 25-0, still undefeated there in the super middleweight division. And he kind of showed that he wants to kind of have his name there as a possible opponent for the now new undisputed super middleweight champion, Saul Canelo Alvarez. And, you kind of heard from David Benavidez after that particular bout with him and his comments, kind of saying that, he didn't really care all too much about, what, Canelo thought about the performance that David Benavidez had in this particular bout. But, he said that, y'all could just keep putting the contenders in front of him. But he said, him being the former WBC champion, he's undefeated. He hasn't lost his belt, in the ring. So right now, it's just a matter of when is he going to be able to have that opportunity to fight for the WBC or basically the undisputed championship. So we'll see here if that's going to happen in 2022, I feel like it just may happen in 2022, and maybe it might happen in May. Want to get in a guest here, a great contributor on this podcast, coming out of Philly, checking in. YSM Sports Media in the building. What's happening?
I have a question.
Gotcha.
I need you to answer.
All right.
When is David Benavidez going to call out somebody his size or bigger? If anybody's listening, David Benavidez only calls out dudes that used to fight 154 pounds. That's it. And he won't dare speak the name of David Morrell Jr. I'm tired of this shit,
See if we ever get an answer to that question. I mean, you have David Benavidez, he's faced the likes of Alexis Angulo, Shayleon Love, the Thrill Gavril, Ronald Ellis, here, Roma. And
those are great names, man.
Yeah, pretty good names, but you don't know. I mean, he had an opportunity where he could have had a unification bout with Caleb Plant, and he kind of,
Yeah, do you know fans have like a bad memory when it comes to that situation? See, David Benavidez does a good job. He talks a lot. He's constantly talking, but people don't remember. He's number one. He's the reason why Canelo got undisputed. Number two, he's the reason why Caleb versus David Benavidez never happened. Because you remember he was supposed to fight Abney Yildirim as his mandatory. He chose to take a tune-up. Now, it was supposed to be Abney Yildirim, then Caleb Plant. He chose the tune-up, loses his belt on the scale, but then he's calling out Plant after that, like Plant wants anything to do with you then. You don't got a belt.
Yeah, he's he's not a factor, man.
I'm just frustrated.
I mean, and like you were saying, it's like, he's out here, beat guys that are coming up from 160 pounds, where he's fighting at 169, and I mean, what has it been like? I know that this thing was a contracted weight of 169 since Kyron Davis is a replacement opponent, but here we are in the second fight out of the last three fights where he has been above 168 pounds, whether it's for the WBC title or whether it was going to be for an eliminator or not. He's definitely having issues making 168 pounds, it looks like, so for his next fight, regardless of who it's going to be, is he going to be able to get himself to the point where he's going to be able to make 168 pounds if it's going to be against Canelo Alvarez or against, somebody else out there?
Hey, you ever notice that people like to pick and choose and move the goalposts with certain dudes? I'll give you the perfect example, right? David Benavidez calls out Charlo and Canelo Alvarez, two dudes that used to fight at 154, right? So he is struggling. First off, he used to fight at cruiserweight when he first started, and then got himself down to 168. Okay, cool. He's struggling to make that weight, but he constantly wants to fight smaller dudes because his style only works against smaller guys. But people criticize Tank Davis for doing the same, did they not?
Yep.
Nobody says shit with David Benavidez.
Yep.
Not a word. And Leo Santa Cruz was already fighting at 130 when Tank 40. He didn't pull him up, but he's calling Charlo a pussy because Charlo won't move up 8 pounds to fight a dude that has no belt and is not a proven draw to where as though Charlo's going to make money. Make it make sense.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know what his situation is with that, man. Want to add in another contributor coming in from the ATL area. Brother Mike Grady is checking in, and then got another guest here to come in a few minutes. Mike, what's going on?
Not much. How you doing, JR? How you doing, Jamil?
We all good, man. Just checking in
Hey, what's
and
up, Mike?
seeing what's happening.
Not much. Not much. I was listening in the background, and Jamil's point. He said, "Why do people not call out Benavidez for doing the same thing that Tank does?" Come on now, Jamil. You know it's Mexican style. People don't care when it's Mexican style.
I knew the answer. I just wanted to pose that question to people. Like, you got to stop the hypocrisy.
Yeah, I never thought about it like that, but that's actually a good point. That he does fight smaller people, and his style wouldn't work with someone his same size or bigger unless his punches, affected them. That's the only way it would work.
Mm-hmm.
Odds are better to even kill that dude, yo.
You think so?
Do I think? I know so. I would bet my mortgage on that fight. Kill that dude, yo.
Wow.
Bet the mortgage on it, because my thing was in this particular fight, you kind of like seen that. Okay, yeah, David Benavidez throws a lot of punches, but he doesn't do a good job trying to avoid punches either. So you had something in the case where, yeah, when Kyron Davis was throwing, he was landing them joints, you know. So kind of like to YSM's point that if if you got Kyron Davis there that didn't come up from 160 pounds against a guy that probably, according to some people, should be at 175, then all he's doing is just walking through those punches by Kyron Davis. So even like I said, it was like a good action-packed fight for as long as it lasted. Kyron Davis was landing shots, and Benavidez was just eating them like appetizers, man. Things you get from Cheesecake Factory or
Yeah.
Applebee's or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Them chips or the chicken fingers or the shrimp
This
or the
man hungry.
appetizer
Hey,
sampler.
JR. Hey, JR Mike, I got the perfect example for you, right?
Yeah.
David Benavidez is Jared Hurd, right? So his game plan isn't okay. I'm gonna use the jab to get inside, then I'm gonna break you down, or I'm gonna outbox you. I'm gonna control the distance. No, his whole game plan is predicated on this. I'm bigger than you are. I'm going to melt myself down to get to a weight where I'm just going to be so dramatically bigger than everybody that I'm going to walk straight forward. I can absorb what they are giving out, and they can't take what I can give for 12 rounds. That's his game plan. But as soon as Jared Hurd start facing dudes who are a little bit bigger, and dudes figured out the game plan, what did they start to do? Whoop his motherfucking ass.
I think it's more with Hurd is that he is very limited in not only defense but also cutting off the ring. Because usually with guys that are much bigger than their opponents, they try to cut off the ring and then they try to work on. But when Jared Hurd fought J-Rock, J-Rock was able to move around the ring, use the jab, get away from Jared Hurd and all of that. So that was a definite issue for Jared Hurd, and it's still pretty much an issue for him right now. Is that he hasn't really developed the ability to cut off the ring like that. Now I got to see if someone like David Benavidez could do that, but the way that he matches up against guys, like he really doesn't face guys that could move around the ring very well. So it's almost like, hey, if I have a guy that stands right in front of me, then yeah, I could throw a bunch of punches and then eventually wear the guy down and end up stopping him. But if he goes up against somebody that's mobile or someone that could really crack, then we'll see what David Benavidez is all about right there. Let me see if I can add in one more checking in. from the Chicken Talk headquarters, Lefty. You all in?
Yeah, I had to switch phones. I'm good
Okay,
now.
yeah.
What's
Man,
up, fellas?
always
Y'all all right
gotta
tonight?
switch phones. Man, I'm all good, bro. All good.
What's good, Left?
That's good. Nothing much.
Yep,
Good
yep.
hearing for y'all. I think now I'm a Benavidez fan, and I'm also a Tank fan. And I think the difference. I think Benavidez, yeah, he could probably go to 175, but he ain't got nobody really on his side of the street to fight at 175. So he's trying to stay where all the smoke at for to make the easiest fights that he can make on his side. That's why I don't give him much criticism for not moving up. With Tank, on the other hand, he has to jump all around to find opponents because he don't have many on his side of the street either.
Well, what I'm saying to you is who gets the criticism though for doing the same exact thing? Who gets the criticism?
Tank gets more criticism because Tank is that guy at 130, 135, 140. You know what I'm saying?
You think that's it? You think that's the only reason?
Have you?
Oh yeah, but because also they want a Lomachenko or a Teofimo or Josh Taylor to get their hands on Tank. Well, they ain't got that same. They ain't got one of them for Benavidez. You know what I'm saying? Because if you've been looking at, they've been wanting Lomachenko to get their hands on Tank since Tank first won that IBF against Pedraza.
Yo, I just find it funny that your boy David Benavidez, right? He mentions everybody else on his side. Even when Canelo wasn't on his side, he mentioned him. He won't mention David Morrell.
Yeah, but he would fight Morrell. Excuse me, if he had to, he would fight Morrell. I think he would fight Morrell.
In Morrell,
You
like,
said it. Wait. You said if he had to. Okay, he done fought Ronald Ellis, Chiron. Okay, he was about to fight. Who's got the game? Dave Morrell ain't a better fight?
No, David Morrell is a better fight. It's a higher risk. It's a higher risk. He's not going to fight Morrell for the same money he's fighting them other guys for.
Yeah, and I feel you, but at the same time, people are calling for Charlo to move up in weight to fight a dude with no belt.
Charlo.
Wait. Okay. I know, but wait, just wait. They want Charlo to move up 8 pounds, fight a dude that's missed weight and that's barely making it when he does at 168, a dude that don't sell. Oh, and a dude that has been proven to be unprofessional in the realm of boxing. That everything I say is factual, not subjective.
Everything you say is exactly true. Exactly true. Well, we also got to remember Charlo kind of talked himself into that ass whooping. Come on, because Benavidez wasn't saying nothing about Charlo, and Charlo just started yapping about him, how he beat his ass, this and that. Then when Benavidez said okay, then he changed his tune. So that's why I think a lot of that comes from for Charlo. I don't want Charlo to do it.
Yo,
I would rather see Charlo take a tune-up, and if he get the Canelo fight first.
The way I remember it, and see, this is something that as reporters we do, right? We'll ask a dude about potential fights, right?
Yeah.
And if he say, man, yeah, I'll beat Benavidez.
I remember, it was an interview. I don't even think it was an interview. He was on live. You remember he was on live in that limousine? And the cops came.
This was well after they first had their back and forth.
Was that it? Because I remember I had to look it up. I think they was like, would you fight Charlo? He's like, yeah, I'll fight Charlo, this and that. And then Charlo was asked, and you know how the Charlos get when they get hyped, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That's how I think it kind of played out like that. But either way, I don't want Charlo to go straight up to 168 and fight Benavidez. No. Get your tune up, and if you could get the Canelo fight, get the Canelo fight. Or if you got to fight the winner of him and Canelo, fight the winner of him and Canelo. No, don't go straight up to 168 and fight that big dude.
What tune-up would you like to see?
Excuse me. You know
what tune-up would you like to? Oh, wait.
Yeah, Danny Jacobs.
Stop. Real fast. Mm-hmm. I heard Benavidez talk about Edgar Berlanga, but I ain't never heard him talk about him call out no David Morrell Jr. True.
True, because Berlanga. Look, I'm a realist. I'm one of the
Berlanga's on the other side of the street.
I'm one of the most realistic boxing fans you would meet. I'm one of the most realistic boxing fans you meet. Berlanga was an easier fight, and it's Puerto Rico versus Mexico, so he see more money in it. That's why. he called him out. Morrell is a lot harder fight.
This
ain't much money in it.
You can't call dudes pussy and now you pick and choose in the smoke.
True. I agree.
You calling dudes at smaller weight pussy, but meanwhile you okay? Oh no, I like this prospect instead of that prospect. Like, come on, man. What are we doing?
Morrell ain't no prospect though.
Word.
Morrell ain't no prospect. That motherfucker.
Yeah, that's the thing about it.
It's the real deal.
I want to add in one more person to talk about that.
I always tease Matt about Morrell, but Morrell is the real deal, though.
He's the boogie. He's the boogeyman in 168.
Bless up yourselves. Bless up. Boxing has no boogeymen. There are no boogeymen at any weight class. Bless up yourself.
Amen. Amen to that, brother.
And as far as the Charlos go, they're a non-factor when it comes to talks of Canelo and David Benavidez.
Well, I mean, my thing is, I've kind of predicted that it's going to be Canelo against Benavidez at Cinco de Mayo first, and then you'll have, the thing with Charlo. But hopefully I get my guy on because he had a little situation for the 168-pound division that I'm going to see if I can pull up here in a bit because he had a good little thing where, you have people matched up and whatnot at 168 that can happen, and, things would probably, end up working out, you know what I'm saying? So hopefully get that joined in now.
Let me say this to y'all real quick. David Benavidez is in his 20s and he's having issues making weight. And if you look at his body last night, he looked a little sunk in and so forth. He was getting pushed around by a smaller man. As far as that weight class, the 168 weight class, it was created for guys that were a little bit too heavy for 160 and too small for 175. David Benavidez, I could tell you, walks around at 215. He's not. He should be at 175. He's killing himself to make 168. If he goes to 175, he'll stand out. He'll be the fighter that people want him to see. If he stays here at 168, Canelo will TKO him like he's done to his last 4 opponents.
I definitely got Canelo stopping him too. I don't even think it'll be as competitive as what people think.
Yeah, the thing with Benavidez is, he throws shots, but he's pretty much just sitting duck for what Canelo has coming back to him. And, to go to what Troy was saying, if you have David Benavidez there, 215 pounds trying to get all the way down to 168, imagine how that affects what you do as far as not your punch output, but the amount of power that you have behind your punch. And for me, Benavidez just doesn't move. And that's not a good look coming from somebody with Canelo that has a better defense while he's standing in the pocket than Benavidez does. So Benavidez could throw shots and Canelo could sit there in the pocket and slip and block and do all of that and then still come back with a left hand. Yes! You know what I'm saying?
Them body shots are going to be problematic.
What's going to be problematic for him, Mike?
Them body shots.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like Canelo take a couple of jabs or take a right hand or two and then just go and hit him in the body, man. And somebody that has to go down that much in order to make 168, that's going to be a problem for Benavidez, man.
Man, Benavidez need to get him a nutritionist and get more serious about it.
He needs to move to 175
and get way more serious than he is.
Troy says he might as well give it up. He should just move to 175. Yeah. Oh man. I guess maybe it'll be like another Callum Smith situation or something like that.
No, it'll be way more exciting. At least he'll go out on his shield now.
I'm talking about when it comes to making weight.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I mean, that was my thing about it was that you had David Benavidez. Like, imagine if the joint was for, like, if he had to fight Jose Uzcategui in this particular bout and didn't get to 168 or tried to have another weigh in to try to make 168. That's the concern there. So I mean, for me, or if it's David Benavidez, man, you want to try to get this fight with Canelo much sooner than later. Or if like Troy says, just move up to 175 and then try to make fights at 175. See if you can get a belt or get your way into a belt somehow. Because well, I don't think Marcus Brown is fully under Heyman boxing, but he still got his fight with Artur Beterbiev. So maybe David Benavidez could have something like that if he moved up to 175.
No, but this is why this tells you a lot about where we are in the sport as far as the sport. If I'm Charlo, which I'm not, but if I'm Charlo, I'm watching carefully. He, as a fighter, he can clearly see that this man is struggling to make this weight. We're talking about David Benavidez. So I go up to 168 at this point, and I say, okay, well, I'm going to fight the last guy that fought Benavidez, right? I fight him. And then I say to David Benavidez, come on, man, we can make some money up here. I'll fight you. That's a nice fight. Charlo would actually beat him at 168 at this point because he would be more comfortable and closer to his walking around weight, where David Benavidez would not be. Look at him. He's sunk in, and he's been pushed around by a smaller dude that took the fight on 3 weeks' notice. He might have stopped that dude. Well, the ref stopped the fight. But the point is, did he look okay? Did he look okay to anybody on the panel?
Who, Chiron?
David Benavidez.
I think that Chiron, he landed shots, but his strategy was the retreat and walk you into shots. And Benavidez is I'm not calling him slow, but he's like slow on his feet. So if he moving, he get walked into shots.
He was slow on his feet because of the weight issue. That's why he was slow.
Let me say this, and this is full disclosure. I'm very cool with somebody that's cool with the Benavidez camp, that works with the Benavidez camp. Yeah. But I do know for a fact that this was his homecoming fight. And this whole week was very hectic.
Benavidez Day, and
yeah, I know he was going through this whole weekend, and
uh-oh. It was like cutting in and out there, Lefty. Hold on a sec.
Is that
a boxing sauce?
Yo.
A boxing sauce. Boxing sauce. Yeah, yes, man. Okay, you good. Real quick with boxing sauce. I'm having some turkey General Chow, meatballs that I made on my own. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Oh.
Y'all eat pork?
I don't eat pork at all. I don't eat beef at all either.
Oh, okay. Because that's the only thing that ain't sky high at the grocery store no more. I had to go to an all pork diet because I can still get pork chops for $10. And chicken wings done broke my pockets.
Hey, but anyway. I'm telling you, man, like they running out of chicken wings. No wonder Wingstop changed its name to Dot Scott, man.
I can hook you up with some chicken. I can hook you up. I know a wholesaler, but you're gonna have to go through me so I get my percentage.
Man, I thought you staying with the grocery store, man. I went to this restaurant, this little raggedy rundown bar. They got some good chicken though. And I looked at their chicken price, and they didn't even have a price. They said market price, like they were selling seafood.
What was the name of the restaurant?
Like they were selling freaking lobster, yo.
Like, selling seafood. I'm like, oh man, this is a restaurant here in Cincinnati called Chicken on the Run.
No, I'm just saying this because I know during the Super Bowl, the last couple of Super Bowls, they actually put out some. This is a factual article that a lot of them chicken wings people eating were rats.
It probably was.
It was delicious too. I feel like some cheese right now. Okay.
Oh man, but yo, Man, back on this joint, man. Like I was saying with David Benavidez, man. Like, yeah, I know that he was there. He had his homecoming. He had like a ceremony. There earlier in the week, a whole lot of his friends and family were out there and that type of thing. Maybe that could have been a factor of some sort. It could have been a factor for his brother because man, that was.
Man, them
Yeah, I'm gonna get
homecoming
into that.
showcase fights are always trap fights. Y'all notice that? You remember that's where
Yeah,
Hurd lost to my
to
boy
J
from
Rock.
Philly. Yep,
Yeah, pretty much J
them
Rock.
homecoming showcase fights are always trap fights for fighters.
Yeah, like unless if you establish yourself, fighting in your hometown for a good series of fights, then yeah, if you haven't been in your hometown or your home area in a fight for like 6 or 7 years, like the Benavidez brothers were, then yeah, you pretty much get set up in a little bit of a trap right there. And Chiron kind of like him a great effort. He was him and Breadman have a very good relationship, and we'll probably get more on that from Breadman as he's very forthcoming on what happens there in his corner in the sport of boxing. So we'll pretty much hear from him a little bit later on that. But yeah, David Benavidez, like I said, he's they're at like 25-0, and we'll
You
see
said
what happens next year.
Breadman coming on later?
No, 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 not on here. But I'm just saying, like online and stuff like that. Whether it's Twitter, Facebook, he's pretty much like forthcoming in what he's going to
What y'all
say.
think about Chiron moving down to 160?
He should
No,
move down to 160. He
I,
should.
I got a question. Did y'all see the altercation between Charlo and Hurd?
Yep.
And that was unacceptable. Period. Because in the real world, those words could get you killed. Did you hear what he
Yeah.
said to Hurd?
Oh,
Yep.
what he say?
He said, well, I'm gonna clean it up. I'll kill you and your wife."
Oh, hell no. So that's them Charlo. Like I said, he where my man go? YSM he left, but yeah, Charlo, them
Yeah.
Charlo, they'll talk themselves into something, man. And then
He talked himself into a pimp slap. Hurd slapped him.
How did he say he gonna kill him?
What?
That was
it
the
don't matter.
altercation
He
there
said he killed you and your girl.
What
That's
I'm
dope.
saying, he said it's a different way. What did he say?
He used the word that rhymed with witch.
he said he'll kill you and your bitch.
Thank
Oh,
you. Yeah, that's what he said.
Yeah.
oh,
Uh,
okay. So he did say kill. I thought you were saying he said a different word other than kill.
nah. Mm-mm.
Minutia. He said he was gonna kill the man and his family. He should have never said that. Should never.
Yeah. But I mean that type of stuff is something that like I've kind of like said this over the times that with the Charlo brothers, man, like see that's why I was calling them the Migos of boxing for a while, but I mean like that type of stuff is like for them it's like unprofessional. Of course, you have Jamel Charlo, who kind of has some people thinking that he is on the other side of some shit, but that's on a whole different atmosphere. But I wanted to see if I could get back into what my guy MVO was saying. Like he's saying, like in a perfect scenario for 2022 that Canelo Alvarez faces David Benavidez, and then at 160, Jaime Mungia accepts the WBO mandatory against Demetrius Andrade, and then Jamal Charlo fights the winner of Golovkin versus Murata after fighting Daniel Jacobs in early January. But I mean, that would be a pretty good scenario, but I mean, who knows how things will turn out for 2022. But, my thing is like the 168 and 160 weight classes, they should be able to sort themselves out, especially at 160, because we shouldn't have had to wait all this time for one of these fights to be a unification fight at 160, and we had to wait until December. But that's kind of like what's happening now with Golovkin and Murata. But you also had a thing with Demetrius Andrade that's going to be fighting on Friday here against Jason Quigley. So it's going
You
to
see
be
what
a
you
real.
see what Paco said about that? He said he might stay tuned because I think they're going to be calling Mungia as the mandatory for Andrade after that fight.
Well,
Pacquiao,
well, I
yeah.
hope that happens.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Paco
I
said.
do. It should be well overdue because, I mean, Jaime Mungia came up to 160 as the WBO 154-pound champion. I mean, he's been that since he fought Saddam Ali. So he goes up to 160. He's automatically the number one contender, and he has these fights and hadn't really called for, the mandatory. So, I mean, there's that. I was gonna, get into his fight against Gabe Rosado in a bit, but I wanted to touch on that co-feature bout in the Footprint Center in Phoenix, Arizona, as Jose Benavidez took on Francisco Torres, and it was Benavidez's first fight since losing to the WBO welterweight champion Terrence Crawford, and the result ended up being a majority decision with one judge scoring about 6 rounds to 4 for Jose Benavidez, but when I was watching that fight live, man, Torres was, he was like using the range, using his foot movement. He was like, yeah, I know that you got shot in the leg and you haven't been in the ring in a long time, so I'm going to be moving around this ring, and you're going to have some issues trying to get to me. And that's what he did for pretty much 10 rounds. I really didn't see that much from Jose Benavidez that was consistent to where he would have been able to win more than 5 rounds or so.
I got a question, James.
Go ahead.
Is this the guy Terrence Crawford won undisputed against?
Nah.
Oh, no.
No, he beat him at 147.
I'm being an asshole, guys. I'm being an asshole.
Okay.
What I'm saying is,
These
his leg
are the
hurt.
jokes of the professionals. These are the jokes of the professionals.
His leg hurt, but he don't look that good to me as well. He reminded me of Ndongo.
Man, he had to drop 70 pounds to get down to. He was supposed to be at 154. He had to drop 70 pounds. He still didn't get to 154.
Okay, so he was out of shape. Gotcha.
Yeah, he hadn't fought in 3 years. He was out of shape. He hadn't fought in 3 years.
Why didn't he fight 3 years? Why?
Because he was just retired. He may not ever fight again. His leg is really that messed up. And I think the only reason he fought, from what I'm hearing, the only reason he fought was really because they wanted to do a homecoming fight with the Benavidez.
How did he get cleared to fight then? Not just for this fight, but for past fights.
I mean, it's good enough to clear. That's one of the things. Where did he fight Crawford at? He may not have been cleared.
He fought him in the ring.
I mean, what state?
That was in
That's
Omaha.
one of the things where he may not have been cleared in Vegas, but he could get cleared. I mean, come on, Phoenix let Danny Jacobs and Chavez Jr. Fight after Chavez Jr. skipped out on the drug test in Vegas. They let Oscar Valdez fight. This is Arizona,
and that's why we need a national commission and a union, and that's what's getting worked on.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
But his leg is all messed up, man. He may not even be able to cut weight back down to 147.
So he don't need to fight no more.
Yeah,
he does not need to fight no more.
Yeah, because I'm like, if he can't really get that weight down, and he doesn't really have the ability to like fully use that leg to do strenuous activities like running or jump rope and that type of thing to like put pressure on that leg, then yeah, he shouldn't really kind of like be fighting like that. It's like y'all said, this was pretty much like somewhere they could have a homecoming bout with both of the brothers on there to be part of the card, and here with this, it was just that Torres was trying to two-piece him up, and it wasn't like he was seriously hurting. Jose Benavidez there, but he was really scoring, some shots. And so Benavidez, all he was doing was like waiting until the end of rounds and then throwing 4 or 5 punch combinations and seeing if that could still around. But it just didn't, to me, it didn't work out that way. But I guess 2 judges thought differently.
Okay, so
his
basically like
is not much different than his brother, except for a little bit more movement from his brother. But his style looked pretty similar to his brother.
He used to be
With a hurt
sweet
leg.
before his leg. When he was an amateur and before he got shot, he was supposed to be that guy. He was that guy. He was supposed to be the next one up.
How did he end up getting shot, y'all? Does anybody know that story?
He was walking his dog, and he got hit.
Gang shit.
Yeah.
He was walking his dog and somebody shot at him?
Yeah, in Phoenix. But him and his brother both moved. They both live in Seattle now, which is good. They got.
Was he affiliated with anybody? Everybody know that?
Probably, yeah.
I don't know.
Unless there are some serious.
He had enemies. Put it that way. He had enemies.
Yeah, I'm just saying unless there's some serious, dog walking gangs out there. I don't know what the hell going on in this world. Oh hell no, man! You ain't gonna be walking that German Shepherd in my neighborhood. Yes, what the hell going on?
Nah, not quite like that. But I mean, I guess if they had some serious dealings around that area, so we got caught in it. So yeah, like Lefty was saying, they got themselves out of there, been up to Seattle and are doing good in Seattle. You know what I'm saying? But yeah,
He's gonna clean up after that damn poodle. I swear for God, he's gonna clean up after that poodle.
Oh man. So I mean that kind of like I just don't see him really getting back in the ring after this, because like I said, I mean that was almost 3 years and 1 month since his fight against Terrence Crawford. So
Wow.
I'm that was just something for him to just get in the ring and see if he could get himself a win, but he didn't even get the win. It ended up being a majority draw. So it is what it is with that.
I guess you could say he really is a shot fighter. Wah, 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 wah. I know.
Damn.
That was fucked up, but that was the best one.
All right, so now I want to get into this thing with that happened in Anaheim. Jaime Mungia against Gabe Rosado. Jaime Mungia was going in there with the record of 37-0, going up against Gabe Rosado with 26 wins, 13 losses, and 1 draw. Had probably one of the better knockouts of the year so far against Beck the Bully, Beckmatir Melikuziev. Damn it. But
okay, say that 3 times fast.
What, Melikuziev 3 times fast? I don't think so. All right, but here he was going in there against Jaime Mungia at 160 pounds after being at 168 for a few fights, including the one against Daniel Jacobs last year. And I just felt like Mungia would have the advantage here, mainly because it was at 160 pounds, and you pretty much got a 12-round, I would say, that was pretty action-packed, itself. The only thing with Gabe Rosado was he was, kind of limited in his offense, given that Jaime Mungia's best defense was his offense. He was able to throw multiple combinations over the course of 12 rounds, just throwing punches and bunches. I felt like I was looking at a bigger version of, somebody like
Navarrete,
Manuel Navarrete, man. And it didn't look like there were probably a couple of times where it seemed like Gabe Rosado was in trouble and he probably could have been knocked down, but Gabe Rosado was able to catch Jaime Mungia with a few punches. A good one. He caught a few good punches over the course of that fight that the right hands kind of got to him, but you kind of seen with Gabe Rosado, he was trying to set traps for Jaime Mungia, but Mungia didn't necessarily fall for him. So, that's how, things ended up there. So for Jaime Mungia, he does get the unanimous decision win there, stays unbeaten. He now has 38 wins in his professional career. Like I said, he's still there as the number 1 contender for the WBO middleweight title. He is the number 1 contender for the WBC middleweight title. So there is a situation with him to see either if they're going to order him as a WBO mandatory, or we see what happens with the WBC, because he was also put in a situation where he could have been fighting Sergey Derevyanchenko after this particular fight. But now with Derevyanchenko going up against Carlos Adames on December 5th, that fight might be, out of the cards here for 2022. So maybe Paco will kind of like order that fight if Demetrius Andrade gets the win over Jason Quigley on Friday night. So I'm looking to see if that's going to happen. But there with Jaime Munguia, like, you see that he does have like a lot of offense. He's almost like, what we were saying about David Benavidez. But at least, with him, he kind of like does take a few shots here and there, and looks like he's like improving a little bit as he goes. There being under the tutelage of Eric Morales as his trainer there. So, I think people are, seeing that he is an exciting fighter, and that, more boxing fans will probably want to see him in the ring pretty soon.
Yes, that was a good fight.
Well, I felt like that that kind of like boosted up his stock a little bit there in the middleweight division. So seeing that. You also had like on the undercard Demetrius Ballard going up against Paul Valenzuela Jr. He had like a unanimous decision win, 3 scores of 8 rounds to 2. Some probably thought that Valenzuela won more rounds than that, particularly early in the fight. But Demetrius Ballard was able to, get past that veteran there. The co-feature had Alexis Rocha against Giovanna Barraza, where Rocha was able to score the KO victory. People thought that, it should have been Ellis there. Rashidi Ellis that should have been put in this particular position, but we all know the situation there with Rashidi Ellis and Golden Boy. So, oh man, free Rashidi Ellis, man.
What's the situation, Sauce? What's the situation about this, Sauce?
Did you boxing? What's the name of that group with Ness boxing scene? What's the name of the group?
Boxing Voice or whatever that guy's name is.
They got a 48-minute interview with.
I saw it, but I came in late. So what's the situation?
It's he basically said after they beat Rocha, they was looking to set him up with a Virgil Ortiz fight, but they wasn't trying to pay him more than they paid Maurice Hooker. This is before Hooker got the fight. He said they didn't even get half of what Hooker got offered for that fight. So
take it anyway. Take it.
Hold on. He also said after he beat Rocha, they were still pushing Rocha and didn't even have a highlight package put together for him for his win over Rocha. Basically, he was saying he felt like they wasn't really trying to promote. They was trying to get him out of the way instead of promoting him.
Well, obviously,
they're just looking to get away from him altogether.
That's what it sounds like. But if they will call that bluff and take that little bit of money and beat their prime boy, make them do their damn jobs. No. He didn't say he took the. Now, all I know is you're not telling me that his people took the money. The little bit of money. Take the little bit of money, beat him. Listen to me. There's a fighter called Hardcore, Menzor, right? Your former heavyweight, right? He was offered. He said he would take $30,000 to fight a Klitschko. He just needs his shot, and he meant that too. He meant it. But he never got his shot. Just like he earned his shot against a face down squad, and he never got his shot against that boy either. Okay,
come on now, Troy. There's levels to it. Yeah, the little leagues and big leagues and stuff. You to some point got to consider the package.
Is levels to him being face down?
You said his name was Hardcore, or was his name? You talking about Hard Face or Hardcore?
No. Wilder would be hard face. I'm talking about Hardcore Menzor.
Richard. I was thinking
Hardcore Menzor is his name. Hardcore Menzor.
I think you're Hard Face because Hard Face trained down at he a trainer down in my gym. He never fought. He fought Axel Schultz and Larry
we talking about two different people. Yeah. Hardcore Menzor is from out of Philly.
I'm just saying I was going to ask him about this. Let him know. But you know who else did that? What's the boy name from Dominican Republic? He did that against Bud at 140.
Who, the dude? Not Diaz, right?
Yeah, Diaz. If you look it up, Lou wasn't trying to give him that fight. He said, "No, I want that fight, no matter what they offer me." He ended up getting that fight and lost. Now he lost, but and then he faded into obscurity. So it's got to be a balance. You guys can't be punished for losing
True.
after they take that short money.
True,
and
true.
Well,
let
you
them
know
make a
what?
fight.
If you lose and they drop you, then you become a free agent and you do what you want, man. It's a gamble. You gamble on yourself, baby. That's
Yeah,
what
it's
you
a
got to
gamble.
do.
It's a gamble.
Yeah. All right. Now I'm going to bring in, of course, one of the biggest key contributors here to this podcast, coming out of Boogie Down Bronx himself. He'll probably put in his
Hold up,
ticket
hold up,
to
hold up, hold up,
reelect
hold up. I
himself.
messaged him and told him to come on, so I get credit for that. I just messaged him and said, "Get on the show," because you ain't on the show.
And I'm from the Bronx too.
Oh, you must have called him out because I gave him the damn link.
Yeah, I just called him out. Why you ain't on the show?
Oh, man. You called him out and he answered the call. Yo, why you got this in the
Where you from in the Bronx, Brethren?
avatar?
Where you from in the Bronx?
Yo, Matt.
Is this thing on?
Yeah,
It's on right now. It's on right now.
Bro.
Yo, I don't know what y'all talking about. All I know is that this show should be talking about the biggest star in boxing, Mr. Jack Reese.
Oh,
Okay.
no.
He's from Queens. He's from Queens. He's not from the Bronx. He's from Queens. He's from Queens.
So, Mr. Jack Reese, the biggest star in boxing. Everything was about him last night, as usual. This is the man that robbed Deontay Wilder.
I take it back. He's from Albany. He's from Albany.
Knockout against Tyson Fury. This is the guy that robbed Logan Paul against KSI. Okay.
This dude is from Alaska. He's nowhere near from New York.
This guy drives me crazy, man. I can't stand Jack Reese, man. They got to get him out of the sport.
Why? Tell us why. Tell him why you mad, son. Tell him why you mad, son.
Why he all up in the video? That's what I need to know.
All up in the video.
Why you still on the number 2 train? But why? Why, son? Why?
Did he ever explain why he jumped in at the end of that round?
Where he had the split, talk about the split on Rosado's glove.
Yeah.
He stopped it like what, 2 he stopped I think 5 seconds earlier.
And then he started arguing at him like Rosado did something wrong.
Did he ever explain that? Did any of these ballless boxing media reporters ask him? Probably not.
Come on now. You know that freaking Chris Mannix wouldn't do that. You know that freaking
Did you say Chris Mayonnaise? Did you say Chris Mayonnaise?
Chris Mayonnaise. Oh man. You know they wouldn't do that. Come on, Matt. You know they wouldn't do that.
That shit drives me crazy, man. Every time I see Jack Reese, I just think about how he robbed Deontay Wilder.
He's one of the greatest referees in history of boxing. Deontay had a whole 2 minutes to finish off a guy that he supposedly knocked out twice, and he couldn't do it.
Hold on. One of the greatest referees in history of boxing.
He gave Deontay he gave him 2 whole minutes to finish a guy that was supposedly knocked out. A ghost. And Wilder couldn't do it. Huh?
Because he has fighters doing the hokey pokey. Like, I don't understand.
I don't do nothing. I don't know about no. I don't do no hokey pokey with men, my brother. I'm sorry. I don't know.
Who's the kid that he robbed of the victory on that FS1 PBC telecast? Was that Balderas?
I don't know no man whose name has balls in it. I'm sorry.
Maybe that's you. Like I don't know what type of weird energy you on. All I know is that Jack Reese is not a very good referee.
No, but you tell us why you mad at him though, man. You're not giving us any reason.
I ain't mad at him. I just want to know why he jumped in to stop the round before Like a full, it was like a full 10.
Why don't you
10
Google and
seconds
get his
before the round
information,
ended.
man? You know, and
Hey, maybe
have Boxing Souls do an interview with him. Huh?
spearhead the cancel Jack Reese movement. Are we going to do it?
Well, listen, you know all the crackers and coons love Jack Reese because he was
Oh,
able
here we go, man.
to rob the
I don't stock in Ritz, man. You can't be saying that, man. You can't.
great Deontay Wilder. Yeah, you don't stock at Rick Glazer maybe, but
Ritz crackers, man. I don't stock.
the great Deontay Wilder was robbed by this man.
You know what, man?
maybe
Deontay Wilder is great, man. He sure knows how to land on his face.
Hey, won't you let him
Gabe
finish saying what he's saying? I want to hear exactly what he's saying.
Oh no.
Maybe
Cool.
Gabe Rosado was having a moment at the end of that round, and all of a sudden Jack Reese jumped in and said, "Stop fighting." Like, did he think the round was over?
Yeah.
Like, he's like, "Oh, don't do that bullshit. You're fighting dirty." Like, what are you talking about?
Oh man, he did the same thing that happened in the Tim Bradley Jesse Vargas fight.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with this guy, man. And it's
Okay, now did you?
Jack Reese.
Okay, did you say they looked like Jack Reese was having a moment, or was it a movement?
Rosado.
I'm sorry, did you say that Gabe was having a moment, or a movement?
Did you watch
So he was having.
Wait, first of all, before we go any further, did you watch the fight?
Of course I did.
Did you watch the fight in its entirety?
Of course I did, Mad Rapper. Of course.
Okay, then you should know that Gabe Rosado was getting the best of Mungia at the end of that round.
That didn't change the fact that he was weight drained.
Oh my God, what is this weight drain shit? What they gotta do? What they gotta do with Jack Reese stopping around early? Let me know.
He is. Come on.
Hey, Troy be doing these misdirections.
Let me ask you a question, because this
Troy
is
be
a
doing these
conversation. Let me
misdirections.
ask you a question. So I want to make sure I ain't tripping. But this is a conversation I've been hearing on Twitter. They're saying Mungia getting too much credit for beating a guy with 14 losses. Y'all feel that way or what?
I mean, the right prospect he'll beat.
I mean, I feel like Gabe may have won the Danny Jacobs fight. We know he knocked out Beck the Bully, which was Gabe was on a hot streak. So I think I rate this win high for Mungia. Maybe I didn't rate Mungia as high as a lot of other people did before this fight, but I rate him high for this.
Well, I've always rated Mungia highly, so to me, this way he just did what he was supposed to do. He beat the hell out of a punch bag.
Wow,
He's improving though.
That sounds like a path to greatness right there, beating up a punching bag. But go ahead.
Why not?
He ain't great.
If you got somebody who's a punch bag in front of you, you need to beat the hell out of them. That's how it goes. Not everybody is gonna be the best of the best. He's a good action fighter. He takes a lot of punches, and Mungia obliged. That's what happened.
He hit that man with a 4-hook combo.
Yeah. So should Mungia go towards the winner of Derevyanchenko Adams or the winner of Boo Boo and
we don't care about Derevyanchenko versus Adames. We care about what Paco Valcarcel, the president of the WBO, had to say. He basically intimated that the WBO is ready to order Andrade versus Mungia.
I hope that happens. I really hope that happens.
Let's see.
Yeah, because I've been waiting for Jaime Mungia to challenge for that WBO middleweight title since he moved up to middleweight after being the junior middleweight title, as the WBO calls it.
And I'm calling it right now. Mungia is gonna send Andrade straight to hell.
He lives in Connecticut, close enough, but no. He's gonna get outboxed by Andres if they fight. He's gonna get outboxed, man. He couldn't even really finish a dude that was weight drained. Now, mind you, I enjoyed the fight. I really did, because you know what it reminded me of? Ring King. We used to stay on the ropes and fight the guy and all that, and then slide, stay on the rope. That's what the fight reminded me of. It was a very enjoyable fight. I used to go to I used to go to 300 and 0 on Ring King, just staying on the ropes.
300.
What's Ring King now?
It's an old arcade game.
Nintendo, man, it's from
Yeah.
Nintendo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Remember, like, hey, Punch Out wasn't the only boxing game out there, so
I ain't played none of that shit.
You sound like you didn't play at all, man. God, man, you need to sound like you ain't play at all. You need to hire someone to tickle you or something. I don't know.
My ticklish.
Matt, you played
going
fight.
on here?
The guy was
Oh, man.
outside.
Yeah, he's. I think he's still on vacation, man. I think he's still on vacation. Man. All right. Oh, yo. All right. Here we are, man. It's fight week. God damn it! It's finally fight week. We got Terrence Crawford, Sean Porter, WBO welterweight championship on the line. I can't wait. Looks like both of the fighters are pretty much ready to go. Well, I don't know about Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford is still struggling with his reception over in Colorado. So once he gets to Las Vegas, it'll be, a whole lot better, man. Um, I think that, people are kind of like, it seems like a lot of fans are overlooking Sean Porter or something like that, man. I
It's
don't know,
wishful
man.
thinking. It's wishful thinking, JR.
Yeah.
That Crawford finally got his stage, and they're hoping that he can prove what they think he is. But like Sean Porter said, you ain't, you not, and you won't. Okay? Sean Porter is going to show Bud that there really is levels to this shit. And that competition that you've been fighting in recent years, those dead British guys that you dragged out of retirement basically to fight.
Indungo.
The dude,
Can I say one thing real quick because my battery's about to die?
with the bullet hole in his kneecap. Okay.
No, that's his ankle. But let me
They
let
not
me
Sean Porter.
right. But let me say one thing real quick. My phone about to die. You said Porter said that he ain't, and what else?
And
What
he
was
won't.
Yeah, because anytime you use three words like that, those are called negatives. And if you add two negatives together, it gives you a positive. What he's trying to say that I'm going to get knocked out in the 7th or 8th round. Thank you, Crawford.
Yeah.
Three
was
negatives.
never.
Three negatives is still a negative, though. He said three of them, so he good.
Three. Yeah, three negatives is still a negative, and he left out on that. Let me see here, man. I wanted to get into what Crawford was talking
different.
about.
You take a look at any of my fights, literally, and you'll see the combination of and the versatility that I have, and he has not been in the ring with that, and I don't think any of the other guys in the division, the elite guys that I've been in the ring with, they hadn't seen anything like me before, and they never will. I'm one of a kind, and with that being said, you say, hey, what makes you why are you the guy to beat Terrence Crawford? No one else has. Well, I am rare. And when you're rare and people who aren't used to seeing what you have and can present, it's hard to adjust to on fight night, So I think that my experiences on top of my skills and everything that I have makes me the guy.
And that is part of his comments that he, said on the conference call, last week. So I mean, I feel like he's gonna be the guy. I'm confident in that. That he, has the amount of experience and the wherewithal to, kind of like frustrate Terrence Crawford in this particular instance. And
I would be mad.
a lot of
I would be mad that Indungo didn't prepare me for this fight. Sort of like Matt said.
But I'm just trying to figure out why do a lot of people and Lefty and Matt, you've seen this over the course of the past couple of weeks in previous conversations. I don't see like how a lot of these fans kind of like expect Porter to approach Terrence Crawford in one particular way. when he has like multiple ways of going at a fighter. He's not going to try to, completely smother you up like he did against the likes of Paulie Malignaggi and Andre Berto. He can mix it up like he did against Danny Garcia and against, Errol Spence, So, I mean, I kind of like feel like the thing is with that, Terrence Crawford hadn't necessarily had the experience of fighting a guy that could, either really get at you and, try to box you too. So, and that's the thing about it. So, I mean, I'm, definitely expecting a great fight between the two. And it's going to be something where it's against, two guys that are, they're in the top 5 of the welterweight division. And it's almost like, people are saying that Shawn Porter is on the decline. And I'm like, well, how is that particularly possible when you got, someone like, Terrence Crawford, who's there, that's been in the game for, pretty much as long as Shawn Porter has been, and is there as a little bit older than Shawn Porter is or something like that. So it's like, what's going on out here? You know what I mean?
I'm just glad we finally get to see Terrence Crawford in a real fight. Like, whether he win or not, it matters. Whether he win or not, I don't care. But I'm glad to see that he actually gonna be in a fight where someone is trying to like hurt him and want to win versus he just having all the advantages. Now, let's say he go in there and knock Shawn Porter out. Kudos to him. Then yes, you can. So Matt fronted me on this a while ago where he was like, if he beats Shawn Porter, does he get in the conversation of like the best welterweight? Okay, if he does beat Shawn Porter, let's say he beat him by knockout, then that definitely puts him in the conversation to where you like, okay, we don't know Spence. You have to, declare this. But if it's like if he wins the fight, you have grounds to be like, we're unsure. But what's his name still gonna be number one, even if he wins this fight. Unless he knock him out.
I mean, it's just with me. I mean, you got like something in the case of where you have 2 top 5 welterweights there. And, I mean, ever since the fight between Errol Spence and Kell Brook is when you kind of like seen where it ended in a stoppage or a knockout, and it hasn't happened, since. And it's very rare that it happens in the top part of the welterweight division. And so, with Terrence Crawford, I mean, yeah, he might, seem like he has, speed and power in both hands, but he's also going against a guy that has faced, guys that are bigger, that, have longer reach, are taller. He's fought, fighters of all sizes over the course of his amateur and professional career. So, I think that it's going to be a whole different experience there for Terrence Crawford that, sets the stage for being a very, very, very good fight. And that, it's like I'm saying, I'm just definitely looking forward to it, and seeing that it's going to be a real battle there for both of those combatants there in this particular instance. In the side of Terrence Crawford, I kind of, was kind of a little bit bothered a bit with what he was like kind of saying in reference to, how that fight came about. And, it was, it kind of like bothered me a little bit. So, I mean, he was like kind of like saying that they were pretty much like kind of like talking about that fight potentially happening, after Porter's loss to Errol Spence, and that they were trying to compare him to, his performance against Shawn to Errol Spence's performance against Shawn or whatever, and that he wanted to kind of, say that it was that they were like in the works of fighting Manny Pacquiao, and when that fell through, that that's when they were talking about fighting Shawn Porter. I'm gonna see if I could like try to pull that.
No Pacquiao fight. That was them. That was them
both
lying.
of us that it would be on our terms.
Yeah,
and I feel like he got caught up in the media after the Spence fight with everybody saying, "Oh, you should fight Terrence, you should fight Terrence," and I told him, you know, I felt like they was using him as a stepping stool to, you know, see how me and Sean, you know, fight go, and, you know, compare me and Errol performances against him. And at that time, I was already in talk with Manny Pacquiao to fight Manny Pacquiao. So I told him that, you know, I got something on the table, and if that fight doesn't happen, then of course, me and you can fight if that's what you really want to do, you know. And the Manny Pacquiao fight didn't happen, so we here now.
So those were the words of Terrence Crawford last week. Yeah.
Man,
The
I like
nigga's
Crawford. I
delusional.
like
Call it what
Crawford
it
as a
is. He's
I like Crawford
delusional.
as a fighter, but man, he got some people in his ear that's just not. Bro, we saw the lawsuit. There was never no Manny Pacquiao fight. Manny Pacquiao got sued because he didn't fight Mikey Garcia. Who was telling him this stuff? Huh?
If you ask a certain person that interacts with us pretty frequently on Chicken Talk, that's working with a certain group, he would tell you exactly who is the person that is in his ear.
I
But I'm
fell
not
for
going
the
to.
Pacquiao. Didn't I lose money off of that? Didn't I bet somebody he was fighting Matt. Was that the bet I lost money off of? Because I bet somebody he was fighting Pacquiao next, and I lost $50 off of that shit. I fell for the shit, but when I saw the lawsuit, I woke up. Yeah, they playing that man for a fool. I hate to see that happen to him. I like Crawford a lot. But god damn, man, you gotta wake up. These dudes playing you for a fool. If Earl could fight Pacquiao in Vegas, you can fight Pacquiao in Vegas. It don't take no Middle Eastern fight. They spinning you when they telling you Middle Eastern, they spinning you.
Yeah, because you had Bob Aaron talk about, oh, we're working on a fight with Manny Pacquiao
No, I lost 50
there
on that Ryan and Tank fight.
in in Dubai. But listen, Terrence Crawford could beat Errol Spence and Manny Pacquiao on the same night. I was like, oh, well, I'm like, that's what he was saying. So, is what it is. Matt, you had some on it?
And now they going around trying to say every Matt. I gotta find your tweet that you tweeted, Matt, with the top rank. Man, I'm so goddamn tired of these motherfucking Jacobians. And go ahead, Matt.
Listen, I'm not gonna let these crackers ruin this fight for me. All right. I've been waiting for this fight. I've been calling for this fight. JR, you will remember that I said that it's time for these guys to shit or get off the pot.
Yep.
And they both are about to put on the best that they have, and that's all I care about. All these other narratives, these niggas are trying to spit, I'm not trying to hear it. I just find it funny that Top Rank sure know how to talk motherfuckers out of buying fights, because you are antagonizing the audience that you would like to purchase your event.
Yep.
True.
It's just funny to me. It's like, dude, you have a can't miss fight that everybody want to see, and you somehow are finding a way to piss off the audience. Because let me tell you right now, Rick Glazer ain't buying this fight. Okay, none of these crackers are buying this fight. Boxing is a minority sport. We run boxing. We're gonna buy the fight. So why would you want to antagonize us just to get some good press from reporters that we don't fuck with and we don't care about?
True.
Hey,
True.
like you were saying, like you said last year, like we're not boxing fans. Like we don't buy pay-per-views. Fuck you, Steve Kim.
Yeah, we like these niggas. And first of all, these niggas ain't buying no pay-per-views. They not. You think people that follow Steve Kim are gonna buy this? You think that people who been claiming for so long that they're Crawford fans and everybody's ducking Crawford, you think these niggas is buying this? because they mighty silent.
Yep. Because they, you know, the way that they work, they always got to have an enemy. And if it ain't no black person, then who they gonna pit against Crawford? You see that? You see what they're already trying to. Man, hold up. Hold up.
Oh, you're looking for one of them tweets, huh?
Yeah, go ahead, Matt. Cook on it though, because you was cooking on it earlier in the Twitter.
You ain't finished your point, Lefty. You said who they gonna call.
I got a message. I got to answer real quick.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
Ghostbusters.
Yeah, like Matt was cooking on that drink, man, because like and this is like kind of like disclosed here with Lefty and Matt on the Twitterverse is that you have a fight of this magnitude, two of the top 5 welterweights that are out there for the WBO welterweight championship, and you mean to tell me that this fight is on ESPN Plus pay-per-view, okay? And that people have to do, they have to, if I'm not mistaken, they have to have a subscription to ESPN Plus.
Yeah.
And on top of that, then pay an additional whatever it's going to be for the pay-per-view.
Yes.
I mean, this fight shouldn't be no goddamn pay-per-view, no way. So there it is.
Oh, yes, it should.
Oh, yes, it
This is
should.
a pay-per-view fight.
Oh, yeah.
It should be to pay them. It should be to pay them, but 2 good welterweights. I shouldn't have to see a pay-per-view to watch these 2 welterweights who should fight on a premium network. My opinion.
I look at it this way. Are these 2 of the best welterweights in the world? Yes.
Yep.
Are these 2 of the most marketable welterweights in the world? Yes. Why shouldn't it be on pay-per-view?
Not according to Bob
I
Arum.
don't mind paying for good fights. I really don't. My problem is when you put bullshit on pay-per-view. Don't tell me I got to pay to watch Amir Khan versus Terence Crawford. Don't tell me that I got to pay to watch some Victor Postal, some former Ukrainian guy against Terence Crawford.
Right.
That's where you lose me. But if you're telling me Showtime Sean Porter, Football Sean is going up against Terence Crawford, I'll pay to watch that. Now,
it's
where
worth
Top Rank
$80
fucked
to
up
you.
at,
It's worth $80 to you.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I
Bro,
think the bar is a little bit too high.
Question. Would you go see this fight in person?
Maybe if it happened years ago when
How
the
much
seats
you think a ticket is? More or less than $80.
Yes, it's more. But what I'm saying is, if I could get like the level 1 seats where you like a little bit above the ring and you got like the perfect view, if you can get that one for like,
you're gonna pay $1,000 then.
No.
Yeah.
I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about in the past.
Plus hotel, plus flight. Come on, man. This is a quality ass fight, man, for $80.
Yeah, man.
You gotta pay for the fights you want to see, man.
Look, them tickets is going, boy. Tickets is going.
Sold
They're
out.
trying to, it's sold out, man, and either sold out or they're gonna sell out. And you know what this you got the dot counting specialist up in here. Okay, listen. There's only probably like about 80 seats available.
Yeah,
if you can get straight up. Yeah, less than that. And so, hey.
And if you look at resale, these resale tickets are priced as high as like $7,500. So there's somebody out there that think they can get $7,500 for ringside, which means that there's a demand for this fight.
There's a demand.
Now, my only problem is the undercard is shit. That's my problem.
Yeah.
Because to me, you had a very good opportunity to put on a very strong card for black fans.
Yeah.
And you just show how little you give a fuck about the black dollar because you just put on any old bullshit.
And again, is it worth $80 to you?
The undercard ain't worth nothing.
Bro,
I'm
you
talking
paying
about
for
the
the,
total
you paying for
card.
the main event. You don't pay for the undercard.
Shit, I do.
I don't.
Listen, let me explain something to you, Mike Grady. At the end of the day, I'm black, okay? And these is two niggas. And I am going to use my dollar, the black dollar, to support these two niggas, okay? The same way the Mexicans use their Mexican dollar to support Canelo last week, I'm using my black dollar to support Showtime Sean Porter and Terrence Bud Crawford.
You think they pay-per-view cost $80 though in Mexico?
No,
I'm
he's talking
talking
about the
about
Mexicans
Mexican
here.
Americans.
Talk about the Mexicans here, man. Talk about the Mexicans here.
Well, make sure you share your streaming link that you put up online with me.
Hey. We are not.
I'm joking. I'm joking. It's a joke. Take a joke, everyone. I don't participate in those.
But you know what?
I buy
Having
the
to
fight
have that,
as well.
having to have that app, they need to explain that better to people. I figure I'm a boxing fan, hardcore, and I'm a technical guy. I got streaming apps, I got fire sticks, I got all that stuff. And I didn't know until last week that you had to have an app to buy the pay-per-view. I know they do it for UFC, but I didn't know they were doing it for this. So they need to really get that message out there to people if they want people to buy it.
Especially boxing fans, because as the Canelo pay-per-view buy showed, nigga, we just want to sit with a remote in front of a TV and click. That's it. We don't want to go through hoops.
Like, for example, right? You said the thing with Canelo and Plant. Like, you could go on the Showtime app, and it'll be there featured. That way, you could just say order now, and you order the pay-per-view. With like ESPN, usually what happens is you'd have to get the ESPN app, then you will probably have to either just get a separate app for ESPN Plus, and then from ESPN Plus, you would have to order the pay-per-view from ESPN Plus and have to sign up for an account for ESPN Plus. Like, I don't know if people want to go ahead and
they got to educate, because that's how UFC does it, but they're used to doing it. They got to educate the boxing fans so they'll know. Because I found out last week. I'm like, oh, okay.
And going into what Matt was saying in reference to this card. So you mean to tell me that they are going to have people watching Janabek Alinkanuli? Yes, I'm struggling with that. Against Hassan and Dom. And then Esquiva Falcao versus Patrice Volney. And Raymond Murataya will face Elias Arujo. That's the three fights that will be on ESPN Plus pay-per-view.
Crazy, right?
But on ESPN2, you're going to have Adam Lopez against Adam Ochoa and Neho Isaac Dogbe against Chris Diaz, man. Like, come on. See, I think they're trying to get more people to get the apps in this because they're having fights that are exclusively on the ESPN app, and then seeing if people will watch on the ESPN app and then say, okay, what you got to do is you're going to have to go on to this other app or whatever it is in order to kind of like watch the pay-per-view. So either they do it through the ESPN app or people watching on ESPN2. I guess that's how they're going to do it. But, I mean, who knows? But like I said, I mean, this is a fan's fight. And you want people to watch this type of fight the easiest way they know how. So I'm like hoping that they have the best numbers that they could possibly have for this fight, because like this is the fight people need to see,
Well, I'm definitely gonna buy it. I don't know about all these fake Bud fairs or these fake top rank pom waivers if they're gonna buy it. We'll see. Only thing I know is that one promotional outfit has consistently shown that they know how to engage their fan base and how to get their fans to come out and not only pay for tickets, but also to purchase
Who's that?
events through pay-per-view. I'm talking about PBC. Don't play stupid. Who else?
Well, I want to ask you a question.
About?
I want to ask you a question. When I was trying to get back on, I had some issues, but when you said blacks run boxing, no, we don't. But I think you made the comment of that we run boxing. You talking about black people? When you say we, or
yes, minorities run boxing. Yes.
Okay,
boxing
so you're talking about black
sport.
Right, you're talking about the blacks, the Latinos, or what?
Yes, blacks and Latinos.
Cool. Blacks and Latinos. Well, we don't really run it. We pay for it, but we don't run it.
I don't know what you mean by that. Blacks and Latinos make up the majority of the boxing fan base.
They make up the. And you don't see any really black-owned promotion companies or anything like that. If you're gonna say the PBC, they're actually owned by their investors. If you're gonna say Golden Boy, yeah, he runs it and all, but what is he doing? But who right now, as far as promotion companies, is really doing anything over here? You said PBC.
PBC is not a promotional company. Let's get that straight first.
Okay, good.
PBC is a television show. How do they put on
fights then?
Because PBC is a television show.
Okay, great.
What PBC does is they have management teams, which are minority owned. They have management teams make deals for fighters to fight, and then they select a promoter to promote the event. Like how boxing is supposed to be run. It's supposed to be separate manager and promoter. PBC is nothing but a television show.
I actually made this comment last week because PBC has so many fighters. I don't know if you remember Tuesday night fights, Friday night fights. Why don't they put the different tiers of fighters on different nights? Like you have fighters that could fight on Tuesday nights. You have fighters that could fight on Friday nights. Then you have the top. Then you have the guys that have worked their way up.
They do in a certain extent, but the thing is, what's happened over the past, couple years, they really haven't had the time slots to really do that at this particular point. So I think that they're working on seeing if everything is completely open to where they could have more of those type of cards. Because sometimes you did see those cards on like a FS1 or FS2 and things like that. But nowadays with the whole thing with lockdowns and restrictions and that type of stuff, you really haven't had that many events in these venues as of right now. So once more things kind of like open up, then you'll see more of that, because you see like how you do for like ESPN2 and now of course with ESPN Plus, like you'll see those cards not only on Saturdays but you'll see them on Fridays. I haven't really seen them on like a Thursday or Wednesday or anything like that with Top Rank, but they were able to like for example, right? Like sometimes, you've seen Fox cards that are on Sundays. Like you've seen that this year where they have Fox cards that are on Sundays. And
right.
And they're able to, have those fighters that, are kind of like lesser known from a public standpoint, that they're able to show those guys and show those fighters there so that, not only, those that are hardcore boxing fans are able to see them, but those that, maybe a sports fan, maybe, like action that could see boxing, and then they'll see people that, they haven't, been used to or seen before. So I think, the thing with like a Sunday is like they kind of like discovered around this year that Sunday is a good day to put boxing on, because people are still at home, even though they're, getting ready for work and school and everything like that with the kids. They're still at home. They're still in front of the TV, whether they're watching NFL football or not, they'll still be able to watch, sports, So I think Sunday's being the move. That's why you're seeing like all of these Sunday pay-per-views that have happened over the course of this year. So
boxing, but they got to do that outside of football season.
What about a stream? Hold on a second. Hold on. What about a streaming service? Similar to like a Netflix, where you pay a certain amount every month and you get to, they'll say,
It's
okay, well,
not
then,
about. It's not enough.
I'm not done yet, man. You haven't even heard. You haven't even let me finish. So how do you know what I'm going to say?
Like the
Why
zone.
don't you just let me finish?
Nah.
Yes,
Go ahead,
man. Why
Shorty.
don't you let me say? I'm saying, that's a thought right there, and you can have different. You have different tiers of boxers. Like if you want to watch the amateurs, boom, you pay for. Since you paid, you can watch amateurs and just scroll through. Like you can have old school fights, you can have current fights, you can have fights that are coming up. How come nobody's done that yet?
Because it's a dumb idea.
I was about to say you asked me to be quiet for
Because
this
it's a dumb
idea, Troy.
idea.
You asked me
How's
to
it
be
a
quiet
dumb
for this
idea?
idea.
Oh, no,
Because you
stop.
don't
Let him
have
just let it explain to me how's it a dumb idea, because I'm offended. So go ahead.
Because first of all, nobody cares about practice. All right.
Practice.
If you got an amateur dude coming up in your area, you might have heard of him. You might care about him. But by and large, nobody don't care about these dudes until
Nobody cared about the Olympics then, right?
No,
they didn't.
I think
Why do you think the
viewership does
Olympics were
probably suck
buried
for
on
the Olympics boxing.
Why do you think the Olympics were buried on the NBC Peacock app? Because nobody cares. Nobody cares. If people cared about Olympic boxing so much, you would see it on television when you just turn on your TV.
As compared to like basketball
You don't see
or
boxing on
Exactly.
TV. You don't see boxing on TV. So,
You see
I guess
professional
nobody care about
boxing.
boxing, and that is thing. When's
Well,
the
the
last
thing
time you
about
see
it
a professional
is,
fight?
You see it once a month. You see it once a month
You don't see
on Fox.
consistently.
You see it.
You
see
don't
the
see
cut.
consistently. You do
Bro,
not see consistently on
you see
TV.
it.
On TV.
right?
You don't see
TV.
boxing on TV. I was just watching
You
boxing
get
on TV last night.
Consistently on TV. I said
what
TV. I
do
didn't
you
say
call
cable.
consistent? What do you call
I
consistently?
consistently is back to back. Stop it. Back to back to back to. Just like you see the basketball
What does
games,
back to back to
football
back
games,
mean?
and all of
Do you
that
mean
stuff.
weekly,
Everybody
monthly?
knows that
What do you
football is
mean?
coming on Sunday. Everybody know when the basketball
Okay,
game is
but
coming
it's
on.
not a sport
Everybody know when
because
NASCAR is coming on.
Because
Everybody know when baseball is coming on. Consistency.
okay, everybody knows that
okay,
boxing comes on Fox once a month. Everybody knows that boxing comes on ESPN.
I didn't see no fight last month. Who fought last month?
Just because you ain't see it don't mean it happened.
Who fight for? Can I finish my point?
go ahead, Lefty.
Okay, you get. First of all, people have to stop looking at boxing as like the NBA or like baseball. It's not a team sport. It's an individual sport, like a tennis or something like that. You don't see tennis on TV every single time, and people only follow the stars on tennis, so they only going to follow in individual sports. You follow the individual. You don't follow the sport as a whole. But sometimes boxing fans have this.
Oh, you're going in and out here, Lefty.
Okay, good.
But,
You follow
here's
the
the
people
thing.
that you
Here's the
enjoy
thing.
and that you like. Because I've never heard no fucking football fan talk about the fucking Toronto Argonauts, but you're a fan of football. Let's try to stop making it seem like that you got to be this hardcore, extra hardcore, because you don't have to be that. Follow the people that you like. You get your boxing on TV once a month, several times a month on ESPN or ESPN2 or ESPN the app, and also the Zone. Boxing is healthy, and there's a lot of boxing.
You see it like every
boxing
week.
is healthy. There's a lot of boxing out there.
Like
boxing is not healthy.
Boxing is very healthy. Boxing is healthier than it was 10 years ago.
Here's the thing with
you know that to be true
what
because
we're
there's so
saying
much money being put into it, not even on a national level, but on an international level.
Here's the thing with boxing as like a spectator sport. And Lefty brought up tennis, right? Now, even with tennis, you have like the WTA and all that type of stuff. Yeah, you have those world tournaments, the major
And
tournaments,
don't
and things
nobody
like
give
that.
a fuck about it.
Exactly, except for Serena and Venus
Like you
Williams.
can, like
I watch
there's
women's
like
tennis.
actual,
I watch
like
Djokovic.
there's like actual tennis channels that are out there. Like you're not gonna have a whole bunch of people watching the tennis channel to see some minor tournament going on. You're not gonna see like a
Exactly.
whole group of people. Like even if it was like the WTA tour or something like that. Like if they have a series of tennis players doing tennis in DC or Chicago or freaking Charlotte or something like
Exactly.
that,
There's
that
tennis
people will
on
go.
every day because I see it on my gambling app every fucking day.
Yeah,
And most of these niggas I ain't heard of. That's why that little app idea where, oh, watch the amateurs, watch it. That shit is stupid. And
Like,
that's the reason why the zone ain't in the US no more. Because they tried
like
that
the thing about
bullshit
it
instead of getting
is
the niggas
that
that we like.
you're
Go
Get the
not
niggas
gonna
that we want to
have
see, and
you
maybe I'll
don't
buy your
have
app.
the amount of you don't have the amount of interest from a spectator perspective to see boxing on a pro level in international circles. Like when they say like this stuff with the zone and having these whole bunch of fights that are in the UK and Italy and Ukraine and whatever it is, you don't really have that much interest within the US for people to go ahead and see
Exactly.
that. Now, on top of that, you won't even have the amount of interest from boxing fans here in the US to watch something like the Golden Gloves at New York or somewhere else. So you can't like have something of that magnitude to kind of like say that, oh, we can have boxing every week or every day or
And it's
something
not
like
even enough
that.
fighters. Yo,
Maybe
Top Rank ain't even got enough good
even with the
fighters
idea,
that we care about to fill out this Terrence Crawford undercard. But this nigga talking about boxing every week. What are we even talking about here?
I'm nobody's nigga, and I'm never gonna be.
You just trying to go against the grain.
I'm
That's all
nobody's
you
nigga,
trying to
first of
do.
all, and
You
I'm
just
never
looking
gonna
to go
be.
against the grain. You're not
Let me
making no
finish.
sense.
Let me finish.
You act like you
Let me
don't
finish.
understand the sport of boxing. Like it's
I don't
niggas
act
at
like
the
I don't
top
understand a
that
damn
people
thing.
care
I simply
about,
made a
and
comment which you
it's
didn't like.
no.
Let
The
me
sport of
make my
boxing
comment now.
is
Let
you
me
got
make.
a
Okay, go
handful of
ahead, man.
niggas that keep the lights on for everybody, and then all these other niggas get in where they fit in.
I'm not
That's how
talking for
boxing
nobody
works.
but me. I'm not talking for nobody but myself. Can I speak now?
Well, you're gonna be the only subscriber to your bum ass network that
That's
nobody
good.
don't want to watch.
That's good. That's good. That's good. Thank you for your opinion. I totally do not appreciate it. Now, as I was stating, when it comes to you kept saying something about marketing and fans and da da da. Marketing is built. Marketing is built. That's why you have marketing is built, man. Before there was Sunday night football and Monday night football, there was somebody saying the exact same things that you're saying now. Oh, nah, it ain't gonna work on Sunday night. It ain't gonna work on Monday night. The exact same words that are being said now that it can't, it won't, it will not happen. It happened. Before there was a baseball union, there was a black man that wanted to get off a team. He was with the majors. I don't remember his name, but I can find it out for you. There will never be a union in baseball. There's a union in baseball right now.
No, there's not a union in baseball.
I'm not done, and I'm not going to stop until I get. I'm not done. What I am saying is this: everything. I'm not done, man. Why don't you just let me finish my point? Why don't you just let me finish my point? Why don't you let me finish? Okay, good. What I'm saying is this: everybody could say what can't be done, but I can guarantee you, I'm here. I can tell you on the back end without saying too much of nothing. I'm really pushing with a whole bunch of people that are knowledgeable in boxing that know more than anybody that's sitting up on here that are in the know. They box, they train, they've done a lot of other things, and we trying to get a boxing commission, a national boxing commission, and a union. And the same nonsense that I'm hearing about it can't get done, it will not get done, is what I keep hearing, and I'm hearing it more from here. Let me finish. I'm not friggin' done, and I'm not gonna stop until I die. So you have to keep running. I'm not gonna stop till I die. What I'm saying is,
good luck.
Nothing will get done.
I hope you got your
Nothing will get done. Nothing will. I'm gonna live to about 100. Nothing will get done when you have an attitude that says can. Because I could find 1,000 people like you, because you a dime a dozen, that tell me I can't do something, but you can't come up here and give me one freaking reason why I should do something, because it makes sense, right?
I ain't watching your app.
Right?
Hey, Matt,
okay?
Can I
because it makes sense. You have to fight for what you believe in. No, I'm not done yet. The very first slave that said we're going to run away was told by someone like you, it can't be done. Let me tell you what, we free today because nobody listened to you.
Mike, go ahead, man.
You know what I believe, JR?
Go ahead.
I think you paid Troy to come on the show to offer dissenting opinions.
Exactly.
Nobody pays me nothing. Boxing calls his own man. I'm my own man. I have a difference of opinion. I might have a strong belief in what I believe in, but why is it everything can't get done? Why is it everything can't get done? Why is it every time you think differently? Why is it everything? You will get your words in, but I said quietly. Why is it every time somebody thinks differently and has a difference of opinion, it can't get done? We come from people who have been told we can't get done. Can't
Don't
get done.
conflate
Garvey.
slavery with what we saying
Oh
here.
my God.
These are two
Garvey,
different things. Don't
X,
do that.
Malcolm. There's a ton of people I could name that were told that it can't get done, and they died. They died so we can get it done. So why do I keep hearing can't? Why?
Okay, can I just say?
Yes.
5 years.
No, you can't, Lefty. You can't, Lefty.
5 years
can't,
ago.
Lefty.
5 years ago, we said that nobody ever thought boxing would be on network broadcast TV again. Here we go. We have boxing on network broadcast TV again. One of the big three. Anything can be done.
This guy's not on TV.
Anything could be done. It takes a lot of money. It takes a lot of effort to get things done, and it takes power in the sport to get things done. I agree with you, Troy. Things could get done, but we also have to be realistic to a point.
Don't agree with this nigga to make him feel good.
We got to get
realistically in what way? And nothing I've said has been unrealistic. Tell me what I said has been unrealistic.
As far as the union, I'm not sure. Me personally, I've dealt with the NLRB, and I've won a labor case. And I know how Trump gutted it during his time. It's a lot of politics involved, especially with the union. I come from a union family. I'm from Detroit. I come from a union family. I know how unions operate and how each state has their own rules about unions. So I mean, you looking at a global sport where laws are made, also a federal level. So it can be done to a certain degree. Yes, it can be done. It would take mostly American boxers, and they would have to shut it down to where any boxers coming in from overseas has to be in the union for the time that they're here in the United States. It takes a lot of money. It takes a lot of lobbying. It takes a lot of political will, something like that. I mean, look how long we had the Ali Act, and that's damn near unenforceable because nobody enforces it. You know what I'm saying? But it can be done.
What are we talking about?
Okay.
What are we talking about?
Like we don't went on a whole thing about unions and marketability in the sport of boxing. So that's
y'all out here trying to pacify this
Monday
nigga
Night Football
when it's Crawford versus Porter week. Y'all trying to pacify this nigga because his feelings hurt. Ain't nobody trying to hear that shit. Let's talk about the motherfucking fight.
Somebody decided to try it. It was a lot easier.
Let's talk about the fucking fight. I ain't trying to pacify no niggas because it's feelings
Let's
hurt.
talk about the fight going 12 rounds or not. Is the fight going 12 rounds or not? Okay? That's what I need to know because I done said time and time again that it's going to at least go 12 rounds. I'm not seeing a knockout. I'm not seeing it coming from Terrence Crawford. I'm just not seeing it. Straight up. I'm not. So you're going to have to tune in to this particular bout to see if Terrence Crawford could do the thing and to stop Sean Porter, which no one has been able to do, not Errol Spence, not Keith Thurman, not Kell Brook, not freaking Danny Garcia, not Yordenis Ugas. None of them were able to stop Sean Porter. Not, freaking Adrian Broner. He wasn't able to do it. So I want to see if Terrence Crawford could actually be the first guy to stop Sean Porter. I just don't see it happening. I just don't. You know what I mean? And I am like, here we are about a few days out from this particular bout happening. I will be on site covering the event. They're pretty much, I'm going to miss the first press conference. God damn it, I'm going to miss the first press conference. But I'll be there for the weigh-in. I'll be there for the fight. Y'all can tune into this whole thing here for the post-fight press conference or whatever it is. And we will have a show on Sunday after the fight talking about the whole thing and what's going to happen on that. Because that is definitely going to be the fight of all fights. And you have, of course, like I said, Sean Porter getting ready, man. He's out there doing work with Doug Day and Gervonta Tank Davis and Mark Magsayo and a few other guys. Well, you had Terrence Crawford that was, doing work with Tyron Davis and, other guys there out in Colorado or whatnot. And we going to see, man. We're definitely going to see if Terrence Crawford is going to be able to step up in competition there in the welterweight division and get the job done. That's what I'm saying.
Listen, I don't know if it's going 12 or not. Only thing I know is that if it doesn't go 12, it's more likely that we're going to see Sean Porter stop Terrence Crawford than it is that we're going to see Crawford stop Porter, because Sean Porter has fought heavy hitters in his entire career, and he ain't never been hurt. Okay? When he fought one time, he ain't never been hurt. Danny Garcia,
I mean, he has been hurt, though, Mac.
Excuse me?
He has been hurt. He got rocked out.
By who?
By
Broner, Spence.
Thank you.
No. You're telling me he got knocked down. There's a difference between he got knocked down and he was hurt.
Being hurt. That equals being hurt, genius.
No, it doesn't actually. See, this is what I mean. See, this is the guy with the shitty network that knows everything about boxing. He's trying to tell you that getting knocked down is the same as being hurt. It's not.
Nah.
Sean Porter ain't never been hurt in his career. Not one time.
So define hurt, Matt.
Hurt is being in that room, okay? And anyone that's ever boxed before knows what that room is.
Hurt is what Terry Harper was after she ate that right hand by Alicia Baumgartner. That's what hurt it.
Yeah, I don't watch those fights, so give me another give me another example.
And what room are you talking about? You know, is it room 301, room 202? I mean, what room are you talking about?
Well, listen, I guess you got to fight to understand.
The upper room.
I fought before, so I'm trying to get you explaining.
I mean, successfully.
Anybody could take somebody else's words and spit it out. I want to hear it from you.
I mean,
I don't hear the passion from you.
So it's like I said, so if you know what I mean, then it don't need to be said. If you know what I mean, it don't need to be said.
And there you go using somebody else's rhetoric. There you go using somebody else's words again.
You just here to play the Jason Whitlock role. You just here to be contrarian for contrarian's sake. All right?
I might be fat, but I'm no Jason Whitlock, and I don't have a white man as my avatar, bro.
You stay in your lane.
paid him.
No, I didn't. Stop it, Mike. No.
Come on,
Every
man.
lane is my name. Every lane is my lane, baby.
That's your problem. You think every lane is your lane. It's not.
It is. Every lane. Tell me why it isn't. Tell me why it isn't.
Stay in your lane.
I'm
driving over here in my lane. And I drive pretty well.
You on the short bus.
You stay in your lane.
Short bus in the back,
Man.
All right, so Troy, who you think gonna win the fight?
Okay, now it's gonna be a very good fight. Crawford is going to TKO him somewhere in the 7th or 8th round. The reason why Porter has never been stopped, because he's been taught well. He keeps his head down behind his arms. But if you look, when he picks his head up sometimes to punch and he gets caught, like a la Spence, he goes down. A la Thurman, and Brook was catching him as well, making him a little woozy, but he wasn't really hurting him. So he's going to have to pick his head up, and Terrence is going to catch him at the end of his punch, because Terrence is a whole lot stronger than what people think he is, and he's going to TKO him. I didn't say knock him out. I said TKO him, and that would be that. It's going to be a very good fight. 7 round 8. Look for Porter to be TKO. And he ain't even need to go in a room to do that. The upper room of the lower room. Friggin' genius over here.
Lefty.
Well, I have a feeling you're going to be in the upper room sooner than you think.
You say what?
What you think, Lefty? You ain't giving a prediction.
I'm predicting Crawford by decision.
Oh, okay.
Safe pick.
JR, what you think?
7 rounds to 5, 115, 113 in 3 scores for Showtime Sean Porter to become the new WBO welterweight champion of the world. I don't really see Crawford making enough adjustments for what Sean Porter has to do. I don't feel like Sean Porter is going to be the same fighter from round 1 to round 12. You're going to see a Sean Porter that's similar to what he was doing against Danny Garcia, where he's going to start off trying to tie up Terrence Crawford, And while he might get hit with a couple of good shots while trying to tie him up, he's going to mix it up and he's going to box, be in and out of Terrence Crawford. I don't really see the thing with Terrence Crawford where he's going to be able to try to catch up with Shawn Porter. Shawn Porter is going to be able to move around the ring a little bit better than people expect him to in this fight against Terrence Crawford. And Terrence Crawford is not going to be able to adjust that well. And I see that's going to be the difference for Shawn Porter. And it's going to be a scorecard that's going to be similar to what he had against Danny Garcia when he won the WBC welterweight championship at that particular point. And he's going to be able to win the WBO welterweight championship at this particular point. And on top of that, for me, I think Shawn Porter knows the magnitude of this particular fight. And for years, he has been looking forward to this particular fight against Terrence Crawford more than any other fight that he's had. And it's like, this is the one where he's kind of like saying that, hey, I'm going against somebody that people consider as one of the top fighters, pound for pound in the sport. And that, you know, I feel like I'm the best guy in the welterweight division. And I'm going to go out there and I'm going to prove it. So he's going to go out there and he's going to show Terrence Crawford how good Shawn Porter really is. And that's going to be the difference there. You're going to see a great fight that's going to be close, that's going to end in a decision win for Showtime Shawn Porter.
I would just love to know how Terrence Crawford is going to keep up with Shawn Porter. When was the last time Terrence Crawford threw more than 400 punches in a fight? Shawn Porter usually throwing like 600 to 700, sometimes 800 punches. Can't wait.
That don't mean they all land. Boxing Sauce, do me a favor, man. I want you to Google the best turkey wing platter in DC, because that's what I want. Because you said, you know, Ben Chili Bowl. I think that was a friendly bet we had, right?
Yeah, that was the bet.
Okay.
That was the bet.
So I want you to Google the best turkey wing platter in DC for me, because that's what I want.
Okay, that's
and
all
Matt, yeah, thank you. I was gonna tell you to go on mute and stop eating the pork rinds while people are talking, man. It's very rude, very rude.
And Matt, you look at the best chopped cheese in the Bronx.
Yeah.
That dude is from Albany, man. He ain't from the Bronx.
Oh God. This man said the dude's from Albany. He said the dude's from Verona.
Look up the best tuna sandwich with no mayo in Albany, Matt.
Oh, come on, man. That ain't the business, man.
Hey,
right,
Troy, what's your boxing channel, man? I've been getting some
Major Key Boxing, man. Major Key Boxing.
Okay, because I've been getting some notifications and I don't click them because I didn't know. Yeah, that's you. I've been
getting. Yeah, man.
Okay.
Oh, also, right, you know, if you like I'm sorry, Boxing. So if you like hip hop, you know, organic radio as well. All right.
Okay.
So you got two other channels that you can check out here. But for the time being, that brings an end to this particular episode of the Boxing Source Radio Show. Like I said, next week we'll be on site over in Las Vegas after that fight has taken place, and we're going to find out who comes out as the victor in that particular bout. But like I said, man, I can't wait for that. Yo, like I said at the end of every show, folks, the point of boxing is to hit and not get hit, not to stand and trade. On that note, folks, I'm out. Have